Hello, FlossTube. This is Bonnie Jeanne, also known as PostMuse, and my channel is Postally Yours. And I believe this is FlossTube number 40. So if not, I will correct it in my notes. So to start with this week, I'm excited because I actually have plans and I haven't shown plans. So this is something that I'm hoping to start on May 31st. And I'll explain more about that at the end. And second off, the project that is so close to being finished, New Doors, it's just waiting on a border. It is still not completed. I'm not even going to show it. I'm still working on that silly border, but I will be going to my granddaughter's graduation this coming weekend, and I'm hoping to bring that with me because it's something I don't need a chart for, and I can sit and stitch that while, not at the graduation, that would be rude, but I can sit and stitch that in the evenings because I'll be spending the night up there. So to start, I'm going to show you the few works in progress that are actually in progress and I've worked on in the last week. And the first up is Jane Eyre, which is by the Little Stitcher Girl. And this is what she'll look like when she's done. And I also have the companion piece, which is Little Jane, which is much smaller than the original, the main piece. And I am working those both on a fabric that's called Dirty Teacup. So this is where I am in Jane Eyre, the big one. I was really focused on trying to get all of the words done. And as I was stitching this one here, this word here, extraneous, I was thinking that's an odd word to be cross-stitching. So I got to the end, stitched extraneous, and then I moved on down to the next word, which is delights. And I realized I'd spelled extraneous wrong. I missed one of those vowels. So, oh no, that wasn't, so the first time I missed something, I realized that right at the beginning here, I had gone up a row. So these first little letters right here, they were all up a row. So that meant everything was all out of order. And I had it in too small of a Q-snap, so I couldn't see that I was making a mistake. And it's linen, and it's very floppy linen. So I said, that's okay. I took it all out, all the way back up to here, got it all lined up, stitched it again. Got to the end, realized I'd spelled extraneous wrong. I'd forgotten a vowel. So that was easy. I just took out the extraneous, stitched it in, got all the way down to the end here, and realized that the second E in extraneous and the E on the B were stitched wrong. Now, probably nobody's going to ever notice that, but I'm going to fix them because I noticed it. I'm sure there are other stitching errors on the words. Also, it was a lot of words. It says, I have an inward treasure born with me, which can keep me alive if all extraneous delights should be withheld or offered only at a price I cannot afford to. Oh, I forgot a word. I'm glad I read this. The final word is done in a slightly different color. It's called give. It's give. So I'll finish that off. But anyway, I'm getting close on that. My plans for this is to finish that, fix those E's, and then outline Jane's body here, because that's pretty much just black and brown, and I can just do fill in. I started the books up here too for the little books. So anyways, that's Jane Eyre. And all her extraneous glory. And then my next one that I was been working on is Groovy Chicks. I am working on the bottom one here. And this is where I am. I'm very proud of myself because I've gotten all the way, so it just has to go out a little bit more on this side. It's pretty much a duplicate of what's going on over here. So it's going to go all the ways out on this side, and you can see the bottom of this one is going to say Let It Beak. And I was very, very pleased with this because this part right here took me hours and hours to stitch. The rest of it started coming along nicely. It's not as many color changes. And, or actually I decided I'm just gonna work on a couple of colors and just, you know, end it and start it because I can't cross over so many threads. But that's cute. That's gonna be adorable. I'm excited about that. So that's Groovy Chicks by Satsuma Street. And then I had spoken last week about Beach Rat. Beach Rat is one that it's very large and it is not, I'm having a lot of trouble with that bird because it's different shades of white. So I decided that last time I filmed the FlossTube that I was going to just concentrate on finishing the lettering and all of these leaves here. And I did. So, which made me very happy. So this is Beach Rat. So you can see I got all the lettering and the leaves are all done. So now I just have to go in and carefully stitch the bird. But now that I've got the leaves and the words done, if I stitch the wrong color white, I'm not going to panic about it. I'm just going to keep on going. Nobody's going to notice one stitch wrong. And then the last one that I've been working on is the Lindy Stitches Airmail series. I am doing April, which is the Dodo. And he's coming along slowly. Didn't work on this as much as I hoped to. You can see a lot of my threads in the background. I haven't tucked them yet. So this part right here is porpoise, and my plan is to stitch, just to continue going across, fill in the porpoise there, and then the rest of the porpoise is the little swirls. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch all of those, and then when I stitch the, I think it's blue topaz, no, blue heron. When I stitch the blue heron, which is the blue part of the bird, I'm not going to stitch it straight across. I'm going to go kind of swirly because I don't like the straight across stitches. This is definitely one that I will not be bringing when I go away this weekend because that takes a lot of staring at the chart. So that's it for my whips. As I said, I am working on trying to do mostly monogamous stitching so that I actually finish projects rather than to keep starting that. That being said, I wanted to point out that I do have a new project that I am going to be starting on Sunday, May 31st. I was watching another FlossTube and the stitcher was saying how she stitches, she has a particular whip that she pulls out just for full moons. And this month we have a blue moon. So which is a 13th moon. So on the 31st, these are very small stitches and I'm hoping to get it done in one day. That's my goal. It's the 31st. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to stitch this from start to finish. It is the 13 moons. And this is Little Stitcher again. And you can see each one is a teeny tiny pillow. And the one that I'm going to be, the one that they call Blue Moon, I'll read it to you, is called the spinning wheel moon. It's this one right here. That's the one they use for the blue moon. And let me read to you. So each moon has its own little story. And the 13th moon, they call it the spinning wheel moon. It is the unexpected full moon, the one that shines in the sky for the second time in a month and in a complete lunar cycle, bringing order and balance back to where it was missing. Lunations, in fact, have a shorter duration than solar months, and after a few years, an additional lunation is calculated to allow recovery and the advance that would otherwise have been the end of a lunar year. This moon puts things back in place, is linked to order, balance, and therefore to the spinning fairies, who spin destiny since our birth and based on our behavior, assign good luck, the clear thread, or unfortunate events, the knots, that we must learn to unravel in order to grow in our inner path. If you hear crinkling, my cat has a box full of crinkled up paper that he loves to play in, and I don't want to discourage him. So that's what the crinkling is. Anyways, so each of these moons, there are 12 other moons. I'm going to stitch them individually. This is from Atomic Fabrics. It's called Storm. And I'm going to be stitching them all on Storm. I'm hoping I can get all 13 moons on it because I can't get this fabric anymore. But if I can, it's not a big deal because they're not going to all be displayed together anyways. So the 13 moons, I'm not going to read, every month I'll read the different moon, every full moon I'll read the different one that I'm doing. The 13 moons are Wolf Moon, Snow Moon, Sap Moon, Egg Moon, Flower Moon, Honey Moon, Buck Moon, Grain Moon, Harvest Moon, Hunter's Moon, Beaver Moon, and Cold Moon. And those are in lunar year order. So the next one that I'll be stitching after the blue moon, the spinning moon, is the honey moon, which is also known as strawberry moon and hot moon. Now the little takes that they have written about these are based on indigenous folktale and origin stories, and I don't necessarily understand all of it or actually use the names of those moons. I just like the way it sounds, and I like the stitches. And on the same idea, this is also from the Little Stitcher. This is the goddesses of the moons. So these are the moon phases, and these are the goddesses. There's two different. There's the dark and the light ones, the new moons and full moon cycles. So you can see the six women. And eventually I'll stitch those too, but that's not going to be for a while. I just want to get these 13 moons done and see if I can get them done in short order in, one day. They really aren't that elaborate. There's very few colors. They're all, well, there's actually quite a few colors, but they're not intense. Then it's not like all these bright colors. So I think I can do it. I'm gonna try, but that would be fun if I can get every new moon I can have a new stitch. That would be really cool. And I think the blue moon is the best one to start with, since that's kind of like a new beginning and, like they said, unraveling. And it will be May 31st, which is the end of the month, and the start of kind of what is officially the summer season, June, July, and August out here on Cape Cod. So anyway, another short FlossTube, and I hope to hear from you all. I'm continuing to watch some FlossTubes that I haven't caught up on in a long time, enjoying seeing all of your stitches. And if you have any questions, just put them in the comments and I will answer. Thank you again for watching. Bye.